Hello, my fellow book-loving friends, and welcome to my cozy little corner of the internet. My name is Mary Kate, and I'm super excited to welcome you here for my first ever YouTube video, which feels surreal to say that out loud just because I feel like I've been dreaming of making my own channel since I started watching YouTube videos practically, which was a long, long time ago. So I am so excited to share with you, hopefully, a community of people that love reading and novels and literature in general. I'm excited to share my love for that with you, as well as documenting my journey as an aspiring independent author. So today I am going to be taking you through what an ideal day would look like for me as an aspiring independent author working on my first ever novel. And this is not what a typical day looks like for me. The key thing here is that I'm an aspiring independent author, which means this isn't my full-time job yet. So this is not what every day looks like. I wish that my days did look like this all the time. But I just wanted to take you with me to show you what my dream every day would be. Which, again, this is ideal for me. So there are mornings where I snooze my alarm like 20 times, or I forget to do morning journaling. So this isn't a completely accurate representation of what my everyday is like. But without further ado, we can get into what's actually going to happen in this video. So I hope you enjoyed the little coffee morning montage that I threw in at the beginning. And now we are going to get ready for the day. I'm going to take my adorable doggo, Scout, on a walk. The exercise will be good for both of us because we're both out of shape. And hopefully the walking will get some creative thoughts flowing for me, which will help with my writing later in the day. When we get back from that walk, I think we'll head to one of my favorite coffee shops to get some writing in and drink copious amounts of coffee. And after we do some work there, I think we'll go change up the scenery and get some more writing done in one of my favorite libraries in my area. There's something about being surrounded by stacks of books that helps me put my writing thinking cap on, and I get to channel my inner bestseller author persona. So, settle in and get excited for a wonderful writing adventure with me today. I'm so happy that you're able to be here to watch this, and let's go write a novel together. Okay, so I just finished up in that super cute coffee shop. I hope we were able to capture some nice images for you all to see. It was filled, and I mean filled with plants. It was kind of amazing. They had also the cutest little games and tea diffusers, and it's one of those places that you walk into and you just want to buy everything inside. But it was great because they had power, which I always need to plug my laptop in when I'm writing, and they had all of the coffee that I could ever want. So I was pretty pleased with how productive I was in there. I was able to solve a few big plot holes, I feel like, and I finalized some world building timeline details, which felt really good. So I'm feeling more ready to conquer some big chapter writing today, and I think that my next stop will be a library, like I had mentioned earlier this morning. So we will get going to find a library to go write in, and hopefully I can continue being productive today. So let's go. Hey everybody, I have successfully made it to the library. I'm being pretty quiet because I don't want to disturb anybody, but I am ready to get back into writing. I have my trusty novel notebook that you may have seen at the cafe, which I will make a video explaining more about it in the future. I have many post-it notes where I have written plot points and dialogue snippets, and I am surrounded by books, which was my main criteria. You are even stacked on a pile of books as my makeshift tripod. I hope you enjoyed some of the nice outdoor footage that I included from like the gardens around the library. But without further ado, let's get back into writing a novel together. Hey everybody, I just wanted to kind of check in with you all after that very busy and exciting and relatively productive day of writing a novel with me. It may have seemed a little chaotic throughout the video, which this is my first, so I'm still getting the hang of operating a camera and recording in public places. P.S. That was really weird and nerve-wracking. But I wanted to come on right now, later in the evening, and just kind of give you a full rundown of what I actually accomplished and kind of explain a little bit more about what my channel is about, what I am doing, because it might still seem a little bit of a mystery to you. So I can't tell you too much about my project, my novel, just because it is so unfinished that all of the details have to be pretty top secret until I have a more finalized product to share with you all. But I can explain a little bit about it, as in it is a fantasy novel. It will be a fairly long fantasy novel, I'm thinking, at least 25-ish chapters is my projected count at the moment. It is going to be geared towards primarily new adult to adult audiences. And if I were to pick 3 topics that it will cover, there will be mayhem, there will be romance, because I love a good romance, and there will be some pretty exciting mythology incorporated through it, and mythology that I personally had not researched that much prior to this idea popping into my head. But that is pretty much all that I can tell you for, we'll call it Project Reaper right now. That is all I can share with you. But to touch on what I actually accomplished today, a lot of aspiring novelists, or novelists in general, will probably relate to me in the fact that writing a novel is a marathon. It is definitely not a sprint. And so there is so much work that goes into actually creating a novel and creating a story and characters that have emotional connections with each other. You really are creating a completely new world, especially when you're writing fantasy, which I am. And so a lot of people think the majority of your time is going to be spent writing the actual chapters and the novel itself, but I would argue that in my case, a ton of the time, probably the majority of my time, is going to be spent outlining my novel, creating my world, figuring out my timeline and my characters and relationships. And so that is still what I'm doing a lot of work on. So today I managed to finalize some timeline details, which was really important since I'm creating my own timeline. And I was able to fill in some pretty big plot holes, which was awesome. Novelists will also relate to that, in the fact that when you get an idea for a novel, it's almost like you get tunnel vision, where you create so many characters and plot points in your head, and you think that everything is extremely cohesive. But when you sit down and take the time to start writing it all out, some red flags begin to pop up, and you question, well, how did this character actually form a relationship with this other character? Or, well, that backstory makes no sense. And so it can be discouraging at first, and I know that I have sat in front of my computer wanting to cry and have thought, well, this is such a big plot hole, there's no way I can resolve it, and my entire novel is trash now, which is not the case. That's the wonderful thing about creating your own world, is that there is always some solution that you can dream up in your brain, and if you sit long enough, usually you'll experience a light bulb moment, which I did have multiple of those today. So that is basically what I accomplished in my day in the life of an aspiring independent author, which is another reason why I created this channel, was to document the process of novel writing from the perspective of an author that doesn't necessarily have experience in the English or literature field whatsoever. P.S. My college degree was in biology. And also share the perspective of someone that is trying to publish independently from a huge publishing company. And so it's a little bit of an alternative way to get into writing books. And I wanted to share that with people who might be interested in doing the same thing, or just have a love for literature like I do. And I really also wanted to create and engage with a community of, obviously, fellow book-loving people such as myself. But for me, reading books was such a formative experience growing up. I am still an avid reader. It is probably my favorite hobby, and I have quite a few, so that's saying something. But books, such as this one, which I'm hopefully going to start reading tonight, books were such a wonderful tool for me to escape into completely new worlds and to connect with emotional characters that were inspirational, and I wanted to be best friends with them, or a part of me fell in love with them, or I saw myself in that character. And escaping into these worlds was such a comfort for me. Reading books for me, as I'm sure many of you can relate to as well, was very escapist in a way. So when I was struggling with things in my real life, reading books helped me cope. They gave me comfort. They taught me ways to solve problems that I was experiencing in my own life at the time. And I really hope that this channel can offer just a little bit of that comfort to whoever may be watching these videos. And I hope that it will introduce people to one another, people that want a community that inspires and encourages each other. And hopefully watching some of my short videos will be able to offer you a little comfort in your daily life and can maybe give you a little bit of that escape or make you feel not so alone in the world. And so with that, I want to thank you so much for joining me on this crazy and eventful journey of this first video. And hopefully you will stick around for quite a while. I am so excited to say that this is just the beginning of what will hopefully be an extremely exciting and uplifting and joy-filled journey together. So, with that, I'm going to cozy up with my blanket, hopefully read a few chapters from the Song of Achilles, and I will catch you all next time.